Well, greetings and salutations, my excellent friends. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Another Talkity Talk vlog. As I reach over here and get a little coffee from the Jeju mug. There we go, Jeju. And this question was sent in asking me my opinion on how Koreans respond to foreigners learning Korean while they're here. What's been my experience, and do they appreciate that effort? And I'm going to extend the topic just a little bit because I have traveled a fair amount here in Southeast Asia, and I know a little bit of several of the languages in the countries that we've visited. So, here in Korea, my experience is this. Many foreigners who come to Korea do so only for a year or two. Korea just really hasn't captured the imagination of people to live long term. So most foreigners, when they come here, they might learn how to read Hangul, which I think is very important because it makes things so much easier in terms of navigating and just being able to see things. But beyond very basic Korean expressions, many don't go beyond that because, in full honesty, you don't need to. You just really don't need to have a high level of Korean to be able to live here. In fact, I've met several individuals who have lived here for 10, 15 years who can barely read Korean and really have no Korean language skills, and they're able to have a great life here. It's just the way things are. So, in my experience, when I speak Korean to someone, they're usually very amazed. And I think that's for two reasons. One, like I said, you really don't need to learn Korean while you're here. And two, it goes back to many Koreans not having a lot of contact with foreigners. They just don't have that kind of interaction on a daily basis. And for most of us that are here long term, we do speak Korean at some varying degrees. I could be better, but I am able to have a basic conversation. Because I don't speak a lot of Korean, my speaking skills are fairly limited, but I have a lot of meetings with folks who may not feel very comfortable speaking Korean. And what we do is I ask them, if you need to express something in Korean, please do so. And if I have questions about it, then we can go from there. So a lot of times, even yesterday, I had a meeting, and there were times where this colleague of mine was struggling with the English expression, so he just said it in Korean, and I was good to go. A lot of times when I'm at a radio television station, a lot of the production crew will just spout out things instantaneously to one another in Korean, and I'm able to pick up on that. So while I may not always be able to speak as well as I'd like to, I can certainly understand most of what goes on. So they're always really surprised because they just don't have the interaction. However, I will share this with you, and this is sometimes very frustrating, especially when I'm on the phone, is I'll get a phone call and perhaps I have a package coming in and they need some additional customs information. Because it is cheaper to buy electronics overseas and have it shipped here and pay the tariff than buying it in Korea. So I'll get the phone call and the person won't speak any English. So I ask if I can speak Korean. And I'll very politely say, I'm a foreigner, I speak a little Korean. And they hear that, and it's just full on, full speed, fluent level Korean, very, very fast, over the phone. And it's very difficult for me to listen to because of the connection. It just isn't as clear as if we're face to face. A lot of times, if I'm out and about too, I'll meet someone that's, oh, do you speak Korean? And I understand a lot more than I can speak, but I understand, I can converse with you a little bit. And they'll just go off and start explaining things full speed as if I was a full-on native speaker. And that's a little bit frustrating as well because it's like, I know a little, but if you go really fast, I'm going to miss out. So that's been my experience. Throughout other regions of Asia, again, because a lot of Southeast Asian countries have a higher level of efficacy in terms of English speaking abilities. When they encounter someone who speaks the local language, they're really amazed and really appreciative of that as well. Especially in the Philippines, in Indonesia, Malaysia, people have always responded very favorably to when I try to communicate in those languages. I will also add that here in Korea, that sometimes I run into a situation where I think I say something correctly, and the person won't understand it, and they'll oh, you mean this, and to me it sounds the same. So I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing things that vastly different from what it should be pronounced, or if they're a lot of times, if you're not expecting someone to say something, then you really can't understand them. I had a colleague from Britain once who was asking if he could borrow a book, and the way that he was saying it in his thick accent, I had no idea what he was saying. I literally could not understand him, and it was just because I wasn't expecting that kind of context, and I wasn't listening in the proper way. So it was all my fault. But that sometimes comes into play as well. So great question. If you have any questions for me, please drop me a note at questions@chiranger.com. And until tomorrow, thank you very much for watching. Stay true to yourself and always be awesome.